Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. And before we start, we actually want to give a special shout out to the Boxing Guru Show. You know, this is our UK affiliate, our sponsor. These guys have a great channel up and coming. So, you know, if you've never heard of them, go ahead, check out their channel. The link is in the description. Subscribe to their channel. They have great content. But let's keep it going. The Canelo Alvarez versus Danny Jacobs prediction. This is the official prediction. And there's a variety of ways we can look at this fight because these guys are two incredible fighters, two elite level fighters. Canelo Alvarez is obviously the younger fighter. Both of these guys are still in their prime. And so this is one of the great fights that will be talked about for years to come. A lot of people, you know, can see the fight ending a lot of different ways, a knockout via Canelo. Even though Danny Jacobs have talked about knocking out Canelo, not really many people see it that way because Canelo has proven that he has an iron chin and facing a Gennady Golovkin. But Danny Jacobs is a very special fighter, and he can hit Canelo with shots Triple G was just simply not able to do. So there's a lot of different ways this can go. And one of the main ways, you know, if you look at Canelo, one of the main points of contention in this fight is, can Danny Jacobs get on the inside, can Danny Jacobs stay on the outside and work? And can Canelo find a way to get on the inside and attack and break Danny Jacobs down to the body? If Canelo can do that, he'll win easily. If Danny Jacobs can keep his range, it's a much more difficult fight for Canelo Alvarez, but that doesn't necessarily ensure a win for Danny Jacobs. So this will be a fantastic fight. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. And I think it'll be a lot closer than many people think. Ultimately, I think that this is a 50-50 fight between two top-level and elite-level opponents. And, you know, how the fighter wins, whoever wins, is going to be just as important as who wins. Because we know these guys are at the top level of boxing. But, you know, we'll see if Canelo Alvarez has elevated to even a higher level, which many people anticipate, or if Danny Jacobs is at a much better level than many people thought. So let's just break down the fight. Let's break down the fighters and just dig right into it. Danny Jacobs has a record of 35 wins, 2 losses, 29 knockouts. He's been stopped once against a Dimitri Pirog. I don't count that against him, you know, for a variety of factors. Cancer, his grandmother dying right before the fight. And also, you know, they called off the fight way too early. So I dismissed that as a knockout. Danny Jacobs was up on all cards before the controversial knockout. So I give Danny Jacobs his credit. He has never been stopped in any other fight before or since. So I do, you know, rate Danny Jacobs has a very valid, strong chin for the middleweight division. Now, if you look at Danny Jacobs, his physical attributes, he's 5'11", with 5'11" and a half with a 73-inch reach. So, you know, you have to give him that. And then you look at Canelo Alvarez. He has 51 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws with 35 knockouts. His lone loss came against Floyd Mayweather Jr., one of the greatest boxers of our era, maybe the greatest boxer. In addition to that, Canelo Alvarez is 5'8" with a 70.5-inch reach. And so, you know, when you look at these guys, you see Danny Jacobs is going to have a height and reach advantage, which is going to play a key role in this fight. And, you know, you have to realize that Danny Jacobs is going to use that to his advantage. He's going to use his height, his reach, his weight, and he's going to try to stay on the outside. There's going to be times where he's going to be willing to bang, believing he's the bigger, stronger fighter. He stated numerous times he's going to try to stop Canelo. And I believe that that's an opportunity for Canelo to actually stop Danny Jacobs. I don't think that it's wise for Danny Jacobs to get caught in firefights with Canelo. But then again, we've never seen, Canelo Alvarez pressure it the way Danny Jacobs will pressure him. A lot of people will say, well, Gennady Golovkin pressured Canelo the whole fight. Yes, he did, but he pressured him with a jab only. And he'd throw 1, 2, or even 3 shots at a time. What Danny Jacobs can do is he can not only throw 3 shots, he can add another 2 to 3 shots on the back end of that. Danny Jacobs has a very high work rate at times, and he can hit Canelo Alvarez with a lot more shots than Triple G can. But on the reverse end, Canelo Alvarez is going to hit Danny Jacobs with a lot cleaner shots than Triple G or anyone has ever hit him with, and he's going to hit him a lot harder because you have to understand that The fact that Danny Jacobs can parry some of Triple G shots, he can have some of those shots roll off, and he can miss other shots altogether. That won't happen with Canelo Alvarez. He's going to hit him flush multiple times throughout this fight, and we'll see if Danny Jacobs can hold up, because this will be a brutal fight, and it's going to be a war of attrition for Danny Jacobs. I think Canelo Alvarez has a very real possibility of wearing down and breaking down Danny Jacobs as the fight goes on, as the rounds wear down, and has a real possibility of stopping Danny Jacobs late. I give Danny Jacobs full credit. I think he's an elite level fighter, and I think he has a legitimate chance to win. Do not get me wrong. I have always said it's a 50-50 fight, but now I've kind of tweaked it and saying it's 51-49 in favor of Canelo Alvarez. I just think Canelo Alvarez has so many tools and attributes, and he will be able to overcome the height and reach advantage. I don't think it'll be an easy fight. I think it'll be a close fight, and ultimately I'm going to, go with Canelo Alvarez majority decision victory. So I do believe it's going to go to a decision ultimately, and I think that Canelo Alvarez could win a split decision against Danny Jacobs. I think it'll be a close fight, a hard fight, but I think Canelo Alvarez is going to make a lot of adjustments. If Danny Jacobs makes too many mistakes, he could get stopped. If Danny Jacobs fights a nearly perfect fight, it's going to be a hell of a fight, a competitive fight, a war, and he could even slightly edge Canelo on the cards possibly. I can see an upset happening because it's such a great fight. It's these guys are two high-level competitors. I would love to see a trilogy of this compared to Triple G if the fight pans out the way we think it will, because these two guys are elite level opponents. These guys have varying styles, and this should be an amazing war. Ultimately, I have to go with Canelo Alvarez via split decision. I just think that he's just going to be too much for Danny Jacobs. He's going to make too many adjustments, and if Danny Jacobs does not come with his with the right game plan, he could get stopped late. Danny Jacobs does have a very valid chance of winning. Much respect to Danny Jacobs, his skill set, his height, his reach, and his power. He is a game opponent, and he could pull off an upset, but ultimately we believe that Canelo Alvarez will be too much. And one of the reasons why we truly believe that, if we look at the resume and the history of competition, not only has Canelo Alvarez fought Triple G twice, he's fought Miguel Cotto, he fought Erislandy Lara, and he's fought the great Floyd Mayweather. He has so many great names on his resume. He's fought Austin Trout. He's fought Amir Khan. He just has better names on his resume than Danny Jacobs. And Danny Jacobs is a legitimate fighter, but Canelo Alvarez's experience from all these varying styles, this is going to be nothing that he's never seen before. But Danny Jacobs, I don't know if he's seen this level of fighter, this level of skill before in his career. I can't name a fighter on Danny Jacobs' resume that has presented this to him. This will be new territory for Danny, the Miracle Man Jacobs. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.